he did that to everybody, right? I'm not the only one. Everyone just knew that was going to happen. All right. Speaking of deadbeat dads. Do you guys know Stevie Wonder has 7 kids he's never seen? Yeah, that's where we're starting. It's weird that him and Ray Charles had so much in common, yet they never saw eye to eye. They're not here, right? Do you guys think Tim Burton's parents think he's still going through a phase? They're like 65 years old. He's like 65 years old, and still like living in basements and whatever. And they're like, it's a phase. He'll get over it. He'll get over it. What do you think, Mr. Burton? His dad's like, call me Dr. Burton. I wrote the joke like 8 years ago. That's as far as it's gone. I keep thinking like one day I'm going to do it. I'm going to have a little bit more to go on it. A friend of mine came out of the closet. This is a little while ago, but it was one of the honors of my life that he was kind of scared that he was going to lose friends over it. So he started coming out to a few people at a time, one by one. And we were just hanging out one day. It was really weird the way he pitched it. He was like, hey Adam, what are your thoughts on gay marriage? I was like, I don't know, dude, is there an open bar? He's like, no man, dude, I'm serious. And I'm like, so am I. And he's like, would you be like offended? Would you? I was like, if there was no open bar, is it still the question? Is it still the direction we're going with this? What? And he's like, no, like, how do I put this? Like, do you care if they're in love? I was like, I've never given a shit before. I've never been going to a wedding and like been sitting in the park and I've been like, do you think they thought this through? Do you think that they like I'm always like, do I have to hit an ATM or not? Do I have to stop at the bank or not? I got the card, I got the, whatever. I never, oh my God, they love him. I think they figured that shit out, you have my blessing. So he was like, well, I'm gay. And I'm like, oh, I didn't see it coming at all. And, but it was really interesting because we were in a big group of friends and he started coming out to more and more people. And I was one of the early ones, so I got to see him come out to more and more people, and it was really interesting that every woman he came out to had the exact same reaction of, oh my God, that's great, I'm so excited for you that you're gay. I know one other guy who is gay. You guys would be great together. And I'm like, what is the inverse of that? Being like, wait, you're straight? I know one girl who likes dudes, one, and everyone I've ever met, and based on that alone, you guys are soulmates. Like, that's a fucked up standard to just be like, you guys would be perfect, everyone wants to be the matchmaker. And I was like, does this happen all the time? And he's like, it happened to my sister when I first told her too. It's just a really weird thing. Speaking of coming out of the closet, do you guys remember Celtics player Jason Collins made history about 4 or 5 years ago now? He was the first openly gay athlete. He came out while he was playing for the Celtics. Do you guys remember this? Probably not. It was big news at the time, but everyone was comparing him to Jackie Robinson at the time. He's the next Jackie Robinson. And I was like, that is messed up too, because what you're saying to black people is that Jackie Robinson played mediocre baseball for 13 different teams for 10 years and then announced he was black. And that is not how it happened. He's like clinging to the end of his career and he's like, can I sign for one more year? You know what, guys, I'm black the whole time. There's other black players out there too, and I'm going to let them come out when they're ready to tell you that they're black. That is not history, people. That's not how it happened. Jackie Robinson went through a lot more than that. Speaking of Jason Collins, I was doing a show in Los Angeles, and a friend of mine was coming to the show, and she was bringing her fiance and a bunch of people from her church, and they were all went to the same church, and they were very religious. And she said to me before the show, just out of kind of a caution, she's like, hey, are you doing any Jesus jokes tonight by chance? And I was like, no, I wasn't planning on it. She's like, okay, good, because all the people from the church are coming and everything. I said, oh, yeah, that's fine. I promise I won't do any Jesus jokes. And then I thought about it, and I was like, why don't I have any Jesus jokes? Like at all. So here we go. I'm playing fantasy hockey this year for the first time, and I'm really excited, and I was drafting on draft day, and I'm picking up all my players and everything, and a couple of them I've heard of, and a couple of them I haven't. I'm more of a baseball guy, but I'm trying to find the perfect goalie, and I know that Jonathan Quick is kind of fast, and I know that Holtby is kind of quick. And I'm trying to find the perfect goalie, and I was scrolling through all the stats and everything, and down at the bottom I find this ringer that's just hanging out there, Christ, Jesus. I'm like, this has got to be the best goalie, because everyone knows nobody saves more than Jesus. But I'm like, is this the right Christ comma, Jesus? I wasn't sure. So I start looking at his stats. It said he was born in the year 0, near Galilee. He's 4 cubits tall. He weighs 12 stone. I'm like, this has got to be the right Jesus. So I draft him. I put him on my team. I'm all excited. I'm going to win fantasy hockey my first year playing. And when I set my password and all the other shit you got to do, and I put him in goal. In the first period, he lets up 6 goals. And the second period, he lets up 6 goals. And the third period, he lets up 6 goals. And 6, 6, 6 up across the board. We were playing the Devils, and I'm like, what is happening right now? So I called a friend who's a fantasy expert, and I was like, hey man, what's going on with Jesus? I thought nobody saved more than Jesus. And he's like, well yeah, Jesus can save every puck that's shot at him, but the puck itself has to want to be saved. And I was like, oh, that's why I got him in the first round. That was so easy. So I'm not doing well. So I work at a museum, and some days are busy and some days are not, and the days that we're closed, we have a lot of downtime. My coworkers who are here will attest to that. It's a lot of downtime. We have those stupid hypotheticals that everyone at every job has, or everyone at high school has, where a friend says to you, like, hey man, would you rather tattoo your left hand blue or like lose your big toe on your right foot? You're like, what? He's like, which would you rather, man? You gotta answer. You're like, what situation would I ever be with that? I would have to answer. He's like, come on man, answer. But the one that always comes up, and you've all had it, is like, if you could go back in time and punch anybody in the face, who would it be? And everyone has the same stupid, lame, boring answers, like Stalin, or Hitler, or Lenin, or Yoko Ono. And I'm like, I don't know, if I could go back and punch anybody in the face, it wouldn't be Hitler. That's the stupidest thing ever. And my buddy's like, well, why? I'm like, well, because he'd probably encamp me or torture me or do all these terrible things to me. He's like, hypothetically, bro. I'm like, well, how would I hypothetically get away if I punched Hitler in the face? Would I punch him in the face in art school? Everybody punched Hitler in the face in art school. That's why he went into politics. But no, I would go back in time and I would punch Jesus in the face. Right? Yeah, that's where we're going. That's the term we're taking. Because he would turn the other cheek, right? And then I just punch him in the face again. And he'd be like, oh, me, my mother, and her husband. Oh, that really hurt. Oh, my biological father. I'm like, Jesus, I love you. He's like, I love you too. I'm like, do you forgive me? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, hold on, you speak English? This is so messed up. It's so bizarre. So I was living in Los Angeles for a long time, and I got a really cool job where I got to fly out to New York. Harry was living in New York with Becca, and I got to fly out. I didn't think I would be flying out because it was winter time, and I got booked to do some comedy at the pregame show for the Super Bowl, and it was Super Bowl XLVIII. For those of you who don't speak Roman, that is Super Bowl 48. And so it was like, I thought it was going to be like more comedy. It turned out they wanted me to dress as a Broncos fan. It was either the Patriots weren't in it. It was really awkward, but flew out to New York, didn't have a winter coat because I was in LA and I didn't need it. And it was really bizarre. I get out there, but all my friends in LA were like, dude, are you going to smoke weed at the Super Bowl? You should totally smoke weed at the Super Bowl. Because the two teams that were playing that year were from Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, and Washington State, and Colorado had just both legalized weed. But you know who hadn't legalized weed? And that's New Jersey, where the Super Bowl was being played. So I had to explain to my friends, first of all, the security at the Super Bowl is done by the FBI and the National Guard. And second of all, going to jail in Jersey is like being in Jersey. Is anybody here from Jersey? I should have asked that before. Is anybody here from Jersey? No? Okay, because you could have asked them, they would have attested to everything I said. So I'm married, which means at one point I got engaged, and my wife wanted to pick out her own engagement ring. She knew we were going to get engaged because the plan was I was going to leave California and come home and propose to her and date, and not in that order. And we went to look at engagement rings. And the first time we went, we were at a wedding in Long Island, and we decided let's go to look at engagement rings. So we walk into this jewelry store, and this guy comes out, and he's got just diamonds everywhere. You could tell he's been in the business for 40, 50 years. He's got the cigarette burn on his white mustache, and he's got the little diamond pendant, and all these little pieces of jewelry everywhere. And he comes over and he starts talking to us, and he's showing my wife, he's like, I don't need to know how much you made or whatever, like, just show you different things, and this one glows in the dark. And he didn't even talk to me, he just talked to my wife for about 20 minutes. She wasn't my wife at the time, obviously. And he talks to her for about 20 minutes and everything, and then finally he decides to size me up and see how much money I make. And he says to me, oh, and you, sir, what do you do for a living? And my wife says, oh, he's a stand-up comedian. And he goes, oh, that's funny, you haven't made me laugh one time. And I said, well, I'm not doing a set right now, but you haven't sold any diamonds, asshole. And we left. And we went somewhere else. Yeah, it was awesome. My wife was reading, she reads a lot of BuzzFeed quizzes and everything and articles, and she saw an article the other day that said 80% of adult men regularly pee in the shower. And she's like, oh, that's weird. She's telling me the stat and everything else, and like it dawns on her, maybe she should ask me. And she's like, honey, would you, and first of all, the thing that upsets me most about that stat, that 80% of grown men regularly pee in the shower, is that means that 20% of the men on that test lied to whoever was asking the question. And maybe it wasn't done right, maybe they were asked in front of their significant other, maybe they just thought the person asking the question, maybe they lied, and that upsets me for my gender lied, and I don't like that. But my wife says to me, she said, out of curiosity, you don't pee in the shower, right? And I know how gross that is. We have a child and he bathes in there and everything. So I said, honey, I promise you 100% that no matter how long we are married together, I will never, ever, 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 ever admit that to you. How stupid would I have to be to tell you that she'd be like, you're not even allowed in the guest room, you're sleeping on the couch. It'd be awful. I recently lost 60 pounds. That is not a dead joke. That is not a dead dog joke. Heads up, that is an actual thing. And for a very long time, I wanted to lose weight because I'd been getting heavier and everything. And I just remember thinking that I got motivated enough that I would like take my shirt off and take the before picture, that you see on TV. And you gotta look like kind of upset in the before picture, so you'd like take it. But then I'd be like, oh, but it's kind of dark out, so I won't go. So I had this series of photos where I was like looking sad and just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Which was awful because I kept coming across them scrolling through my phone because I have a problem like hoarding photos and deleting them. I kept finding more of these photos. And I was like hoping that I was fat because I didn't want like 20 years later my kids to be like, hey, look how skinny Dad was back then. And look how much hair he had. And he was so rich. So I was hoping, that I was fat at the time, but I finally did lose the weight, and I'm very happy about it. There isn't really more to that joke. It's still kind of new and brooding, but when my wife and I were still dating, I was driving to New Hampshire. We were going skiing with some friends, and my friend was in the back seat, and my wife was sitting next to me, but we were still dating. And we're driving along, and it's pouring rain out, and I'm going a little bit too fast, and it's like where the highway like becomes like a regular road, but it's still is off ramp, but it's like cars coming at you. And going a little bit too fast. I'm driving my sister's car because mine had problems and everything. And as I'm driving along, I see a police car on the side of the road with just at the last second, and I luckily wasn't going fast enough that they're going to pull me over, but I saw the radar going out the window, and I was like, oh, thank God. And kept going along, and all of a sudden, as I come up over the next hill, there's a car coming really fast towards me. So I do the right thing, and I flip my high beams to warn them of this police officer back there who is parked. And the car, you'd think that it maybe flashed the high beams back saying, oh, thank you. No, they flipped on their blue lights and they banged a U-ey, and they pulled me over to the side of the road. And it wasn't a male cop, because I feel like we always say, like in our society, like we say like a cop and a female cop, or a letter carrier and a female letter carrier, but like I feel like we could do like women's soccer has taken this over, where it's now soccer and men's soccer. Like women's soccer is now like the standard. So anyway, so the officer comes up to my car, and she is mad that I was trying to warn people of a speed trap. But at the same time, the speed trap, it was pitch black, it was pouring rain, and And I didn't see them, and if they have to see me, they'd have to have their windshield wipers on. And in New Hampshire, where we were, if you have your if it's raining out, you have your windshield wipers on, you have to have your headlights on as well. So they were breaking the law. So I just decided, why not? Let's just play dumb. I'll just pretend I didn't see the car. So the lady comes up and she's the officer, and she's very upset, and she's yelling at me about different things, and she's like, in this car. And I said, I didn't even see a speed trap. She's like, well, then why were you flashing your high beams at me? And I said, oh no, I thought they were on. I was trying to turn them off because I saw you coming, and I just totally lied to her. And she's like, and what, you didn't understand your high beams? And I said, well, it's my sister's car, mine go forward, hers go backwards, and I'm dyslexic, and I wasn't thinking. And she's like, and where did you come from? And I said, well, I started in Boston. And she's like, you've been driving since Boston, and you've figured out your high beams? And I said, well, no, because I don't use my high beams in the city. And she got more mad with every time I answered, so she left. And she came back and quizzing me about my birthday and everything. And I'm like, it's on my license. She goes, I know. And then so she let out a fake ID. And so finally she gives me a warning, and she's gonna let me go. And she says, and whose car did you say this was? I said it was my sister. She goes, no, you didn't. You said it was your girlfriend's. And I was like, I've already lied to her a few times, so why not lie again? I'm already getting a warning. I'm not going to get a ticket. So I said, officer, I wouldn't say that because I don't have a girlfriend. I'm a homosexual. And she looked at me and she said, and my wife, meanwhile, who my girlfriend, was like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the police officer, she just looked right at me and she said, you're telling me that you're gay? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh my God, that's great. I know the perfect guy for you. I know. Thank you guys very much.